Hello, you are welcome. This is MJ with MBJ Knowledge. If you are new, please feel free. You are welcome to our channel. This is an education channel. If you are a returning subscriber, we say thank you so much for always coming back. You are part of this family and thank you. Today, we've got a part 1 of trigonometry. We want to look at the non-right angled triangles. And normally these you find them in paper 2. So we are going to, in this lesson, we'll discuss about 2 important rules, that we are going to be using. Because when we talk about trigonometry, remember we are looking at the relationship between sides and angles. So here we'll actually talk about how to find angles as well as sides to your non-right angled triangles without using the so common known as SOHCAHTO. Here we'll now be using the 2 important rules, of which the first one will be sine rule, and then later on we'll go to cosine rule. Okay, now under all these rules, there are also other formulas that will come into play. So when we talk about the sine rule, I will give you the other formulas for instance, area of a non-right angled triangle. Second, I'll also give you the formula for shortest distance. So those 2 formulas will be the same even when we go to cosine rule. Okay, the only difference will be on the formula that we'll use on each rule. So rule number 1, we'll look at the sine rule. Okay, now the sine rule states that, let us give for instance this triangle that you are seeing on your right hand side. Okay, if we have such type of a triangle, the capital letters, these capital letters, they are representing angles. Always remember that. Okay, these capital letters that you are seeing, they are representing angles. Okay, at the same time, the small letters here, they are representing, so here we have small letter C just down here on the side AB. So the capital letters, they are representing angles, and the small letters, they are representing sides. Okay, so each angle has got an opposite side. So for instance, angle A, the opposite side is that small letter A over there. Same applies angle B, the opposite side is angle B. So we are writing an angle and a side. So a side to an angle, same. So there is a ratio between an angle and a side. That ratio will be equal to these other ratios. Okay, so for instance, if I have a ratio of the angle A and the side A, it will be the same as the angle C to the side C. Those ratios will be equal to each other, and that's what makes a sine rule. So writing it down, it will be in this form: A over sine capital letter A, B over sine capital letter B, C over sine capital letter C. Now the A, B, C, these are small letters as you can see on top there. They are representing sides, okay, as we just explained there. And then the capital letters, they are representing angles. So you can see the ratio there, okay, between a side and an angle. Now since we are using sine rule, so no wonder here we do not use angles on their own, so we need ratios. Now since it is a sine rule, so the ratio that we are going to use to carry our angle will be the sine ratio. Okay, so that is the formula there for the sine rule. Keep it in mind. Okay, now since we've known the sine rule, we need to know when do you pick the sine rule, okay, or when do you get to use the sine rule. You don't just get to dream to say, today I want to use cosine, tomorrow I want, no. It depends with the question. So now these important points that I'm going to give you will help you to choose whether to use sine rule or cosine rule. So questions will come, for instance, they'll ask you to find a side. Okay, they'll say calculate the distance, maybe, for instance here, they'll say calculate the distance AB. So AB is a side, okay? AC is also a side. CB is also a side. So if I ask you to find a side, Okay, and you have to check what information you are given. So for you to be able to use sine rule, you're supposed to be given 1, 2 angles. Okay, so on your question, you're supposed to be given 2 angles. And then secondly, you are supposed to be given a side. So if you want to use sine rule to calculate a side, you're supposed to be given these 2 things, 2 angles and a side. Then you can use sine rule. Number 2, a question can come asking you to find an angle. If they ask you to find an angle, they are supposed to give you, it's the opposite to the first statement. Here we're given 2 angles and a side for us to calculate the side, but now the opposite will be we're supposed to be given 2 sides and a non-included angle. So if you want to find an angle using sine rule, check on your question, you're supposed to be given 2 sides and a non-included angle. Then yes, you can use sine rule. Okay, we proceed. The next question, the next formula will be on the area. Okay, area of a non-right angled triangle. So on all our non-right angled triangle, this will be the formula that we are going to be using. It will not change whether we are using sine rule or we are using cosine rule. This formula will be the same. So given this non-right angled triangle there, for us to be able to find an area, we are going to be using angles. Now, when you're finding area, it's very important to check for the angles. Okay? So you do not just pick any angle that you feel like getting. No. Whenever you are picking an angle, so for instance, if I want to use angle B, okay, let's say I'm given to say angle B here is 30, just an example. Angle 30 here, angle B is 30. Okay, so if this angle B is 30 and I want to use this angle, then I'm supposed to be given 2 adjacent sides to angle B. Adjacent means the sides that are closer to that angle. So angle B, it has got closest angles which are C and the A. So I'm supposed to be given these 2 angles. If I see that one side is given and the other side is not given, then I cannot use angle C. I'll have to look for another angle. I'll check angle C. If I want to use angle C, I'm supposed to be given B and A. If I'm supposed to use angle A, then they're supposed to give me side B and side C. So it's very important to keep that in mind. So this is just a reference formula, okay, to show that the angle that you use, you also multiply it with the adjacent sides. So for instance, here on the formula we have used angle C. The adjacent sides to C is A and B. This is what you are seeing here on the formula, A and B. Okay, thank you. We'll proceed. Then shortest distance. Okay, the formula for shortest distance is very simple. We are going to be multiplying the area that we find divided by the longest side. Okay, so the area, 2 times area, okay, and then over B. B represents the longest side. So on that area, on that shape that you're going to be given, there will always be a longest side than the other. So that's the one that you're going to use to divide just down there. Okay. Now, since we've known those formulas, let's go on a practical question, an examinable question now under trigonometry. So we'll have 3 questions that we are going to answer to use those formulas that we are just from talking about. So the question reads, in a triangle ABC below, AC is equal to 275 kilometers, angle BAC is equal to 125 degrees, and angle ACB is equal to 40 degrees. Calculate the distance BC. When we say distance, look at BC. BC is a side on this triangle, okay? This BC that you are seeing here is a side on triangle ABC. So since it is a side, remember this doesn't have a 90 degree. So it means it's a non-right angled triangle. Now for me to find that distance, okay, I am going to use one of those rules. Okay, now for us to choose which rule to use, we'll bring back the statement that we're just from talking about. When we want to use sine rule, we said you're supposed to be given what? 2 angles and a side. Now, looking at our question, is it true that we are given all the two angles and a side? It's very true. You can see there's this angle here, angle 125 and angle 40, two angles, and the side AC, which is 275. So sine rule can work. Okay. Now let us bring up the sine rule. So this is our sine rule. Remember the A, B, C, those small letters are representing sides. The capital letters are representing angles. Okay. Now the rule here, A represents, which one is A? This side here is A. This side here is small letter C. This side here is small letter B. Okay. So where there is A here, do we have a value? No, we don't have. And that is the side BC. So we'll just write BC. Then do we have a value on capital letter A? Yes, the angle is there, 125. Let us write it down. So this one will have BC representing small letter A, and then sine 125 representing angle A. Okay. Then next we have B. Now this one here, when you're using sine rule, it's very important to take note that you need at least one ratio to be complete. When I say to be complete, it means one ratio you should have a side and you should have an angle. Okay? Whatever you're calculating, whether you're calculating an angle or you're calculating a side, there should be one ratio which is complete. So now, if we look at this B and the capital letter B, this ratio can be completed. Okay, we have a side, but we don't have an angle. Okay, it's not difficult for us to find this angle because we are given 2. In a triangle, there are only 3 angles. So when we add the 3, they should give us 180. So we're going to add the 2, which will give us, when I say 125 plus 40 is 165. And then we subtract 165 from 180. Okay, so 180 minus 165. And then what is it going to give us? Correct. It's going to give us a 15 degrees. So it means angle B now is 15 degrees here. We have 15 degrees. Okay. So since we have, it means this ratio here is now complete. Okay. We have a side and we have an angle. So it will be like this. Okay. Very important. Keep that in mind. Okay. Then C, do we have anything on C? Small letter C? No. But we have something on capital letter C. So we'll just write it for the sake of writing. Okay. So now we can proceed to find. What is the question asking us? To find the side or the distance BC. So this, whether we like it or not, we are going to pick it. Okay. Because that is what we are trying to find. Then between the two, we are going to pick which ratio is complete. So the second ratio is complete. That's the ratio I'm going to bring down. So this one here, we leave it. We only use 2 ratios at a time. So from here, we are going to cross multiply because we want to continue solving. So BC will be multiplied to sine 15 degrees, which will be sine 15 degrees BC. Then sine 125 will be multiplied to 275, where we're going to have it in that way. So let's divide with sine 15 on both sides. Okay, we're going to have something like that. So we have BC. Now we need to expand this. Don't do shortcuts. It's a 4-mark question. Expand what is sine 125. You have that value there. And then expand what is sine 15. You have that value down there. Okay. Preferably, you can be writing these to 5 decimal places before your final answer. It's okay. You can find the same answer at least to 5 decimal places, not 2, but 5. It's okay. In case you are feeling lazy to write it, but it's more accurate when you write everything. Okay, let's multiply on top. We're going to have something like that. And then we divide with this number here. So we're going to have our answer as 870.3641267598 and 46. Now, the instructions in our exam paper, it says if the question does not specify, okay, to how many decimal places and your answer is not exact, you're supposed to round it off to three significant figures. So three significant figures will be 1, 2, 3 up to 0 here. So it means we are rounding off directly on the decimal point there. Now look at the next number. It's in a range where it is less than 5. So we cannot get a 1 and add it to 0. So just cut off everything after the point. So we'll have 870 kilometers as your value for BC. You get your 4 marks. Easy and dusted. Let's go to the next question. Okay. The next question talks about the area of ABC. Okay. They want us to calculate the area. Do you still remember that formula? Good. That is the formula over there. Now, this formula, it's not just restricted to say just the way it is, I'm going to use it. No, it is dependent on the letters on your triangle. Okay, so these letters will be changing depending on the letters of your triangle. So in this case, it is 15. So here we are given 870. This is what we found. Okay, on that part we are given 870. So whenever we're finding area, I explain to say you don't just pick any angle that you feel like picking. Okay, so the way you're going to pick your angle, it is dependent on the adjacent sides. So on B we have the 15 degrees. But are we given the two adjacent sides to B? No, we are only given one. We don't have this side. Okay, if we come to angle A, are we given the two adjacent sides? No, this side is not given, this side is given. But let's go to angle C. Okay, angle C, which is 40 degrees, it has the two adjacent sides. It has this side the 275, it has this side the 870. This is perfect. So this angle is the one that we are going to use on our formula. So we're going to have it in this way. It means sine 40 degrees multiplied to these two adjacent sides. This is what you're seeing here, 870 and 275. So we multiply 870 times 275. What do you get? Okay, good. You're going to get something like this. Okay. Which is, okay, 239,250. Okay, that's your value that you're getting. Good. The next, you're going to expand this, sine 40, punch what is sine 40 on the calculator. You're going to have that value there. Then multiply with the 239,250. You're going to have something like this. Then later on divide it with the 2. Okay, when you divide, you have that value, which is 76,893.4678087525. Now that value, as usual, we're going to round it off to three significant figures. Okay, so before the point, we have more than three significant figures. It means already all those that are after the point, they are not going to be there. Okay, so we're just ending on 8. So we'll strike here. We'll check the next number. Yes, it is greater than 4. So we are going to add a number. We're going to add the 1 to 8. So we get a 1 from 9, add it to 8. It becomes 9. Then since 9 and 3, they are before the point, we cannot remove them. It means we'll change the value of the number. So we'll turn them into zeros. Okay. So the final answer will be 76,900 square kilometers. Okay, that is the area of this triangle that you are seeing here. Okay, we proceed to the next question. Finally, now the question is asking us to find the shortest distance. Okay, from where? From A to BC. Okay, so for us to find the shortest distance of from A to BC, look at this line that has been drawn. This line is perpendicular. It is forming a 90 degree just here. Okay, it is forming a 90 degree. You remember the formula? Okay, where we are multiplying 2 times the area divided by what? The longest side. Okay, so this is our formula just here. Okay, 2 multiplied by area divided by B. B will represent not this B that you are seeing here. No, not that B. that B on the formula for shortest distance represents the longest side. Remember that formula? So if you look at between the two sides that are given, there's no need for you to start finding out what C is. No, just look at the given sides already and check which one is the longest. Pick that one, it ends there. So 2 multiplied by the area was 76,900. So the longest side between 275 and 870 is 870. That is what we have used down here. Multiply on top, we have that value there, which is 153,800. You're going to divide it with 870, okay, where you have 176.78, 16, 09, 19, 54, then 02. To 3 significant figures, we only have 3 significant figures before the point, so we'll strike on the point. And then 7 is greater than 4, so we can add the 1 to 6. Whatever is after the point, we leave it. Okay. So there we're going to have 177 kilometers as our shortest distance. Okay. Thank you very much, guys, for watching up to the end. And please don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out any content. And if you have any question, please, we have the comment section below. Just type your question there. And if you want me to help you with any question from anywhere, just type it there, and then we'll be able to produce a video and publish it for you. Thank you very much, guys, for being there with this channel and for supporting us. If you're a new subscriber, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We'll keep on uploading videos. This is part 1 of trigonometry. We're going for part 2, where we'll use cosine rule. So you don't want to miss out the part 2, and we'll solve a number of questions now after handling those basics. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.